Good morning, everyone. Thanks for attending this session. So just before to start with our customer Kitopi, I want to inform you that we have several sessions with Snowflake in this event. I invite you to watch the recording of yesterday's session with Ross Perez, our head of international product marketing, about Snowflake data cloud positioning. And also, I invite you to assist this afternoon to a roundtable about data collaboration and data sharing, and how Snowflake is making this data sharing powerful and very easy at the same time. So I'm very pleased to welcome one of our early adopters here in UAE, Kitopi, who will share their journey on Snowflake. Very pleased to welcome Saman and Marcin. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks, Mohammed. My name is Sam. I'm the Chief Technology Officer at Kitopi. A little bit about what Kitopi is. Kitopi stands for Kitchen Utopia, essentially the perfect kitchen. We define ourselves as a managed cloud kitchen platform. For those of you who don't know what a cloud kitchen is, a cloud kitchen is essentially a kitchen that is primarily geared towards food delivery orders. There's no dine-in presence. We're a managed cloud kitchen. We're the first movers in that space. And what we essentially do is also cook and deliver on behalf of those restaurants that partner with us. So when a restaurant joins Kitopi, they only focus on the menu and product innovation and marketing. They leave the end-to-end operations to us. We enable restaurants to scale and open up access to the markets that we have a presence in as little as 2 weeks. We started in January 2018 on the mission to satisfy the world's appetite. So we receive orders from a variety of channels. That includes some of your favorite aggregators, like Talabat, Zomato, Deliveroo. We handle the entire supply chain. We procure the foods. We're the ones that cook it. And we partner with last mile providers for the last mile logistics for delivery. Quite often, the marketplace aggregator we sell on are the ones that pick up the food from our kitchens. We associate ourselves as the AWS of the kitchen space. And the analogy we make with Amazon is we enable restaurants to scale as Amazon does with e-commerce services and companies. We've built the infrastructure. It's equipped with the latest, smartest kitchen appliances. We've built the technology. We are pioneering the technology in the cloud kitchen space. We've built that tech from the ground up. We've equipped it with phenomenal Kitopians, cooks in the kitchen. And we built out the supply chain that enables the resourcing of this infrastructure. Restaurants tap into that infrastructure to scale and reach consumers. We're currently in 3 markets. We have over 60 kitchens, 1,200 Kitopians, and over 200 restaurant partners. And this has been over 3 years. We are in Kuwait, UAE, and KSA. We're continuously expanding both in the region and globally. These are some of the brands we work with. Some of the names here you might be familiar with. Our tech at Kitopi is called KaaS. We refer to it as our operating system. And it's essentially the tech that powers how we work. It handles the entire end-to-end order experience. It's how we receive the orders, how we route it to the correct kitchens. We display it to the right cook in those kitchens on a menu item level. It essentially focuses on improving the consumer experience and reducing inefficiencies. We capture a lot of data from a variety of sources, KaaS being one of them. And data is part of Kitopi's day-to-day culture. We have self-service access to build your own dashboards. We have over 800 dashboards and growing. We access a lot of different data points from the different sources we have. We have over 3,000 data points. And this includes P&L related information down to the prep time of every menu item in a kitchen. When you look at the service value chain from supply to consumer, we use data to solve problems across this entire value chain. We use it to forecast the sales on a menu item level so that we can minimize our stock wastage and we can correct our inventory levels the way we need. We use it to sequence orders in the kitchen. We algorithmically sequence orders in the kitchen. We don't necessarily cook order 1 before order 2 in the interest of minimizing prep time. So one item might take 2 minutes to cook and another one could take 8 minutes to cook. We ensure to sequence those orders so that items are prepared fresh. We sequence it based on logistics and drivers. When a driver is actually expected to arrive to our kitchen, to ensure that that order doesn't sit on the rack time for too long and that food does not go cold. We use data when it comes to marketing as well. Dynamically discounting, making special offers available to consumers based on the utilization of our kitchen. And those are just some of the use cases. I'm going to hand this over to Marcin, our VP of Engineering, who will tell you how we use Snowflake to achieve our goals.
So thank you, Sam. As Sam mentioned, I'm Marcin. I'm VP of Engineering. I joined 2 years ago, and I'm happy to lead a team of more than 60 engineers located in various regions. So to tell you the story about Kitopi and Snowflake, we would have to go back to December 19. Before that, we were working on a SaaS platform that we were trying to tailor to our needs, but we figured that it's limiting our growth because there were many things that we weren't able to do in it. So we decided on building our own software. So in December 19, we were close to launching it. We were 3 months away from the actual launch, but we were still sitting on the third-party software. Then what we find out, once we roll out to our own system, we're gonna have access to way more data than we had on the previous platform. So we thought we definitely need to make better use of it, because we were relying on the reports, on the dashboards that were provided by this SaaS platform we were using. And finally, we figured once we launched it, we haven't thought of any sort of reporting. So that was the missing piece. And obviously, we didn't have time to develop it. So we figured we need to find a way to hack it. So we decided that we need an external database to store our all data. And we pinned this criteria at this time. We thought we need minimum of 0 development. If it was possible, to achieve that would be great. And since we were and we are still in hypergrowth mode, we are trying to spend as little on maintenance as possible. So we were looking for something managed. We used many other databases, and we were still using, but we were looking something which is more based for the cloud. We are leveraging cloud to the max, and we figured they might be something better than the traditional database just deployed to the cloud. And also what was important for us, we try to be agnostic. We try to even cloud agnostic. We try to not to be locked by any vendor. So that was important for us. So we were looking, and Kitopi was suggested by one of our co-investors at this time. So we decided to do the proof of concept and give it a try. So as I mentioned, like our own platform, we had a greenfield. We had a privilege of starting it from the scratch, right? So we used the best possible techniques to build it because we knew at this time that Kitopi is gonna be big, and we will need to scale it up in no time, right? So we try to deliver as quickly as possible, but we weren't trying to compromise on the quality or on the techniques. Yeah. So our platform, KaaS, is built on the headless architecture. We have more than 50 microservices being run on the production. Everything is Dockerized, and we run this on Kubernetes. And we use Kafka as our communication stream between the microservices. So what we figured, this data is already flowing between microservices. Why don't we just tap into it and try to persist it somewhere else in our data cluster? So what we did at this time, we used Kafka Connect to connect Snowflake to Kafka topics. And so this Kafka Connect, at the beginning, we used the open source version of it. Right now, I know there is a dedicated connector that saves you some cost of data ingestion. And then we thought, when we started looking at the costs of everything, we figured out like the data storage cost on Snowflake is similar or even cheaper than it was at the AWS, right? So we figured, why don't we just, do the data lake and the data warehouse on the same platform on Snowflake? That's gonna be more efficient. It's gonna cost us less, and also the Snowflake with Snowflake you can choose where you want it to be deployed to. So we deployed it to same region in the AWS to minimize the latency, and we decided to have the raw data and structured data on the same platform. And as we decided to store the raw data, we figured we wouldn't need to do any transformation. We just push it and persist it there, so it stays. But we figured we need something to transition to convert the data from raw format to a more organized one, and we decided to use dbt. That's a very lightweight tool that you can do all the transforms and you can store all the models in it in SQL queries. And since we are like a big evangelists of infrastructure as a code, all the good programming techniques, we use the GitLab to govern this. So right now everything is in GitLab. We are using good programming techniques like code reviews, merge requests, and we use the CI/CD pipelines. We use the CI/CD pipelines to automate all the progression of the code between different environments before they hit the production. The missing piece in it was a scheduler, so we decided to use Airflow for that. Airflow, or whenever, because normally everything that's going through Kafka is being pushed to Snowflake, but there are some cases when you need to schedule data pulls from other sources, and this is what we used Airflow for. As for data processing, the last part of the stream, we are using Looker to visualize our data. We are using Spark and Python to do computations of the data. So about the experience so far, right? Like, so we've been using the Snowflake for more than a year, and there are several things that we do like. The first one is maybe it's not the most important, but I'm glad the screens will be coming from this. So it has the graphical user interface, which is very nice. We like it. It's very user friendly, and I know there is new version coming. So we have high hopes it's gonna be better. But there is a CLI version, of course, and also there are many tools around that you can use, to connect it with as well. The other thing is scales great, right? You just need to, whenever you want to launch a new warehouse, you can just click it or use a SQL query to do this, and it's you can limit the number, the compute power, and the number of instances. So you have like the total control of the costs. So whenever someone makes a mistake and he runs like a complex query on the database, you don't have to worry, that you're gonna spend like millions on this because there is this limitation of the size. There is a lot of plugins and integrations that make you like easy to connect to this, and like Snowflake is not a niche technology, like the guys did the IPO, and it's well recognized. So the amount of tools connecting to it, it's enormous. And also what is good, it's SQL, right? It's the adoption is very easy because like everybody knows SQL. So that was what our data engineers like the flow. The other feature is the support for semi-structured data like JSON and Avro, and it's super easy to access it. So this is what convinced us to build, our data lake on the same platform too. And the most amazing feature that we leverage a lot is zero copy replicas. This is something I haven't seen anywhere else. So this means that whenever you want to work on some piece of data, you want to test something, you don't need to ask DevOps or whoever to create a replica of the data. You can create it on your own. It's like it spins up at no time and there is no cost because there is no data copy. It essentially just create a new data, the new warehouse, and it's like points the pointer to the original file. So whenever you change something, you don't change the original data. Only the difference is being stored. So this is this great feature being extensively used by our engineers. There are like cool features like undelete, undrop, time travel, so you can go with your data back and forth. Something that is not being I haven't seen with anybody else. Like I wanted to tell this is something that nice to have, but like before doing this presentation, I found out like our data guys are using this already. So it's this extra securement that you have on this. Like whenever you do something wrong, then you can always go back. And in Snowflake, there is no indexing at all. You don't have to worry about indexes at all. They use the technique which is called microclustering, and it essentially optimizes on its own. Like I've read some articles on this. I don't like completely understand. Like so I treat it like as magic, but it like believe me, it works. And finally, if you need to do something quick, like you don't have time to push the data, to like you need to compute with some external data, you can quickly store a file on S3, connect it to Snowflake, and use it as a regular table. You can even materialize this data as a separate view. So like it works super fast, and then you can join it with everything else that you have on Snowflake. Then, like I was trying to think of, what changed since what have we done since December 19, and I was thinking, and honestly, I couldn't find like too much. Like there is no maintenance at all, right? Like the developers can the data scientists can work on this on their own. Like the only thing that we changed or updated over the time, we connected Snowflake to our SSO and replaced the logging with the keeper authentication. So that's the best part, right? We don't need any DevOps power to maintain Snowflake. And yeah, so what's coming up next? Like our users, like we are a tech company, like we leverage data, as someone said, like to the max, right? So like a lot of our guys, they not only create their own dashboards on Looker, but they also they want to run their own experiments, data, machine learning. A lot of our guys can do this. So what we figured, we want to give it this opportunity to them, but like to make it in a safe pattern. So we right now what we are doing what we call data democratization, which is enabling everybody to run their own experiments. So we are looking at either Kubeflow or SageMaker, and to do this, and we want to deploy Jupyter Network notebooks, so everybody can run their own experiments. And as I previously said, we like to do we like to produce everything using the best techniques. So like again, we're gonna create like proper pipelines. So every single environment is isolated, until it finally gets we get a decision to push it on production. And about how Snowflake is fitting in here is again the cloning feature. We want to use it extensively. So the guys can with one click, they can pull whatever the data they need to either prototype or train the models on non-production environment. So they can pull the data from production at no time without asking anybody, you know, for help, and then they can you know, work on the data and hopefully come up with something amazing that's gonna hit the production. So that would be all from my side. Like I'm always happy to exchange the ideas. You can always mail me at marcin@kitopi.com. You can find me at LinkedIn. Thank you. Thanks, Ahmed, for hosting us, for the invite.
Thanks. Thank you, Marcin. Thank you for sharing the magic of Snowflake and how it's making your life easier at Kitopi and growing with your growth also. Many thanks, Saman, also for your introduction. Since day one, I loved the story of Kitopi, and I'm still very proud of you using Snowflake today. So again, happy to collaborate with you, and thanks for all attendees for this session and for the questions on the chat, and see you in the next session. Thanks. Bye-bye.